Adonai said to Moshe, "Send men on your behalf to reconnoiter the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the people of Israel. From each ancestral tribe, send someone who is a leader of his tribe." Moshe dispatched them from the Paran desert, as Adonai had ordered. All of them were leading men among the people of Israel. Here are their names. From the tribe of Reuven, Shumwa, the son of Zakur. From the tribe of Shimon, Shaphat, the son of Hori. From the tribe of Yehuda, Caleb, the son of Yephani. From the tribe of Yisachar, Yigel, the son of Yosef. From the tribe of Ephraim, Hoshea, the son of Nun. From the tribe of Benjamin, Hiltiah, the son of Raphu. From the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel, the son of Sodai. From the tribe of Yosef, that is, the tribe of Manasseh, Gadi, the son of Susi. From the tribe of Dan, Amiel, the son of Gamali. From the tribe of Asher, Stur, the son of Mechel. From the tribe of Naphtali, Nachbi, the son of Yofsi. And from the tribe of Gad, Geuel, the son of Machi. These are the names of the men Moshe sent out to reconnoiter the land. Moshe gave to Hosea, the son of Nun, the name Joshua. Moshe sent them to reconnoiter the land of Canaan, instructing them, "Go up to the Negev and into the hills and see what the land is like. Notice the people living there, whether they are strong or weak, few or many, and what kind of country they live in, whether it is good or bad, and what kind of cities they live in, open or fortified. See whether the land is fertile or unproductive, and whether there is wood or not. Finally, be bold enough to bring back some of the fruit of the land." When they left, it was the season for the first grapes to ripen. They went up and reconnoitered the land from Zin desert to Rakov, near the entrance of Hamat. They went up into the Negev and arrived at Hebron, Achaman, Sheshi, and Tilmiah. The Anakim lived there. Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. They came to the Eshcol Valley. They cut off a branch bearing one cluster of grapes, and they placed a carrying a pole between two of them. They also took pomegranates and figs. That place was called the Valley of Eshcol Cluster, because of the cluster which the people of Israel cut down there. 40 days later, they returned from reconnoitering the land and went to Moshe, Aaron, and the entire community of the people of Israel at Kadesh in the Paran desert, where they brought back word to them, to the entire community, and showed them the fruit of the land. What they told him was this: We entered the land where you sent us, and indeed it does flow with milk and honey. Here is its fruit. However, the people living in the land are fierce. The city is fortified and very large. Moreover, we saw the Anakim there, and Amalek lives in the area of the Negev. The Hitti, the Yevusi, and the Amori live in the hills, and the Canaani live in the sea alongside the Yarden. Caleb silenced the people around Moshe and said, "We ought to go up immediately and take possession of it. There's no question that we can conquer it." But the men who had gone with him said, We can't attack those people because they are stronger than we are." They spread the negative report about the land they had reconnoitered for the people of Israel by saying, "The land we passed through in order to spy it out, the land devours its inhabitants. All the people we saw there were giant. We saw the Nephilim, the descendants of Anak, who was from the Nephilim to ourselves, so we look like grasshoppers by comparison, and we look that way to them too." At this, all the people of Israel cried out in dismay and wept all night long. Moreover, all the people of Israel began grumbling against Moshe and Aaron. The whole community told them, We wish we had died in the land of Egypt, and that we had died here in the desert. Why is Adonai bringing us to the land where we'll die by the sword? Our wives and our little ones will be taken as booty. Wouldn't it be better for us to return to Egypt?" And they said to each other, "Let's appoint a leader and return to Egypt." Moshe and Aaron fell on their faces before the entire assembled community of the people of Israel. Yehoshua, the son of Nun, and Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, from the detachment that had reconnoitered the land, tore their clothes and said to the whole community of Israel, "The land we passed through in order to spy it out is an astoundingly good land. If Adonai is pleased with us, then he will bring us into the land and give it to us, a land flowing with milk and honey. Just don't rebel against Adonai, and don't be afraid of the people living in the land. We'll eat them up. Their defense has been taken away from them, and Adonai is with us. Don't be afraid of them." Just as the whole community were saying they should be stoned to death, and glory of Adonai appeared to the tent of meeting and all the people of Israel. Adonai said to Moshe, "How much longer is this people going to treat me with contempt? How much longer will they not trust me, especially considering all the signs I performed among them? I'm going to strike them with sickness, destroy them, and make from you a nation greater and stronger than they are." However, Moshe replied to Adonai, "When the Egyptians hear about this, because it was from among them that you, by your hand, brought this people up, they will tell the people living in this land, 'They have heard that you, Adonai, are with this people, and you, Adonai, are seen face to face. Your cloud stands over them, that you go ahead of them in a column of cloud by day and a column of fire by night. If you kill off this people at a single stroke, then the nations will have heard of your reputation, will say, 'The reason Adonai slaughtered this people in the desert is that they won't be able to bring them into the land which he swore to give them.' So now, please, let Adonai's power be as great as when you said, 'Adonai is slow to anger, rich in grace, forgiving offenses and crimes, yet not exonerating the guilty, but causing the negative effects of the parents' offenses to be experienced by their children, even by the third and fourth generations. Please forgive the offenses of this people according to the greatness of your grace, just as you have borne with this people from Egypt until now.' Adonai answered, 'I have forgiven as you have asked. But as sure as I live, that the whole earth is filled with the glory of Adonai, none of the people who saw my glory and the signs I did in Egypt and in the desert, yet tested me with these 10 times and did not listen to my voice, will see the land I swore to their ancestors. None of those who treated me with contempt will see it. But my servant Caleb, because he had a different spirit with him and was fully followed me, him I will bring into the land he entered, and it will belong to his descendants. Now, since the Amaleaki and the Canaani were living in the valley, tomorrow turn around and get yourselves in the desert along the way of the Sea of Suph." Adonai said to Moshe and Aaron, "How long am I to put up with this evil community who keep grumbling about me? I have heard the complaints of the people of Israel, which they continue to rise against me. Tell them this: as purely as I live, Adonai swears, as surely as you have spoken in my ears, I will do this to you. Your carcasses will fall in the desert. Every single one of you who were included in the census over the age of 20, who have complained against me, will certainly not enter the land about which I raised my hand to swear that I would have you live in it, except for Caleb the son of Jephunneh, the Yeshua the son of Nun. But your little ones, who you said would be taken as booty, them I will bring in. They will know the land you have rejected, but your carcasses will fall in this desert. Your children will wander around the desert for 40 years, bringing the consequences of your prostitutions into the desert eats up your carcasses. It will be a year for every day you spent reconnoitering the land, that you will bear the consequences of your offenses 40 days, 40 years. Then you will know what it means to oppose me. I, Adonai, have spoken. I will certainly do this, this whole evil community who has assembled together against me. They will be destroyed in the desert and die there. The men whom Moshe had sent to reconnoiter the land, and who, when they returned, made the entire community complain against him by giving an unfavorable report about the land. Those men who gave the unfavorable report about the land died in a plague in the presence of Adonai. Of the men who went to reconnoiter the land, only Yahushua and the son of Nun, Caleb and the son of Yefunne remained alive. When Moshe told these things to all the people of Israel, the people felt great remorse. They arose early the next morning, came up to the top of the mountain, and said, "Here we are, and we did sin. But now we'll go up to the place Adonai promised." Moshe answered, "Why are you opposing what Adonai said? You won't succeed. Don't go up there, because Adonai isn't with you. If you do, your enemies will defeat you. The Amalekim, the Cananim, they're ahead of you, and you will be struck down by the sword. The reason will be that you have turned away from following Adonai, so that Adonai won't be with you." But they were presumptuous and went up toward the high parts of the hill country, even though the Ark of the Covenant of Adonai and Moshe stayed in the camp. So the Amalekim and the Cananim, living in that hill country, descended, struck them down, beat them back all the way to Haran. Adonai said to Moshe, "Tell the people of Israel, when you have come into the land where you are going to live, which I am giving you, and want to make an offering by fire to Adonai, a burnt offering or sacrifice, to fulfill a special vow or a voluntary offering, or at your designated times to make a fragrant aroma for Adonai, then, whether it comes from herd or from the flock, the person bringing the offense is to present Adonai with a grain offering consisting of 2 quarts of fine flour mixed with 1 quart of olive oil, and 1 quart of wine from the drink offering, that is, that you are to prepare with a burnt offering or for each lamb sacrificed. For a ram, prepare 1 gallon of fine flour mixed with 1 1/3 quarts of olive oil, while the drink offering you are to present 1 1/3 quarts of wine as a fragrant aroma for Adonai. When you prepare a bull as a burnt offering, as a sacrifice to fulfill a special vow, or a peace offering for Adonai, there is to be presented with a bull a grain offering, and 1.5 gallons of fine flour mixed with 2 quarts of olive oil for the drink offering. Present 2 quarts of wine for an offering made by fire, a fragrant aroma to Adonai. Do it this way for each bull, ram, male lamb, or kid, for as many animals as you prepare for each one, regardless of how many animals there are. Every citizen is to do these things in this way when presenting an offering made by fire as a fragrant aroma for Adonai. As a foreigner stays with you, or whoever may be with you, through all your generations, and he wants to bring an offering made by fire as a fragrant aroma for Adonai, he is to do it the same as you. For this community there will be the same law for you as for the foreigner living with you. This is a permanent regulation through all your generations. The foreigner is to be treated the same way before Adonai as yourselves. The same Torah and standard of judgment will apply both to you and to the foreigner living with you. Adonai said to Moshe, "Speak to the people of Israel, tell them, whether you enter the land where I am bringing you, and eat bread produced in the land, you are to set aside a portion as a gift for Adonai. Set aside from first dough a cake as a gift, and set aside that you would set aside a portion of a grain from the threshing floor. From your first dough, that you give Adonai a portion as a gift through all your generations. If by mistake you fail to observe all these mitzvot that Adonai had spoken to Moshe, yes, everything that Adonai has ordered you through Moshe, from the day Adonai gave you the order and onward through all your generations, then, if it was done by mistake by the community and was not known by them, the whole community is to offer 1 young bull for a burnt offering as a fragrant aroma to Adonai. With its grain and drink offering is keeping with the rule, one male goat as a sin offering. The Kohen is to make atonement for the whole community of the people of Israel, and they will be forgiven, because it was a mistake. And they have brought their offering, an offering made by fire, to Adonai, and their sin offering before Adonai for their mistake. the whole community of the people of Israel will be forgiven. Likewise, the foreigner staying with them, because for all the people it was a mistake. If an individual sins by mistake, he is to offer a female goat in its first year as a sin offering. The Kohen will make atonement before Adonai for the person who makes a mistake by sinning inadvertently. He will make atonement for him, and he will be forgiven, no matter whether he is a citizen of Israel or a foreigner living with them. You are to have one law for whoever it does something wrong by mistake. But an individual who does something wrong intentionally, whether a citizen or a foreigner, is blaspheming Adonai, that person will be cut off from his people, because he has had contempt for the word of Adonai and has disobeyed his command, and that person will be cut off completely. His offense will remain with him. While the people of Israel were in the desert, they found a man gathering wood on Shabbat. Those who found him gathering wood brought him to Moshe, Aaron, and his whole congregation. They kept him in custody because he had not yet been decided what to do with him. Then Adonai said to Moshe, "This man must be put to death. The entire community is to stone him to death outside the camp." So the whole community brought him outside the camp and threw stones at him until he died, as Adonai had ordered Moshe. Adonai said to Moshe, "Speak to the people of Israel, instructing them to make through all their generations zitziot in the corners of their garments, and to put tzitzit on each corner blue thread. It is to be a tzitzit for you to look at and to remember, and thereby remember all of Adonai's mitzvot and obey them, so that you won't go around wherever your heart and eyes lead you to prostitute yourselves, but it will help you remember and obey all the mitzvot and be holy for your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt in order to be your God. I am Adonai your God."